Hey friends, Ash here with Gents, and today I'm going over with you guys my top 10 fall fragrances for 2020 Designer Edition. As I'm filming this, it's about to head into September and the temperature is about to start dropping. It is still pretty warm as of when I'm filming this, but the temperature is about to start dropping as we head through September. So I wanted to go ahead and get this out and go over some of the fragrances that I'm looking forward to wearing the most. So let's jump into this. Got a bunch of different fragrances to talk about. First, I think I'll run through, if you want to call them honorable mentions, but they're fragrances that for one reason or another have not made the top 10 list this year. First up, Pure Havane, Pure Malt, both of these absolute stunners in fall time, but I've worn them heavily in the past. So this year I didn't want to put it on the top 10 because I've just worn them so much. Both of them though, fantastic fragrances. If you don't know them, if you haven't worn them before, absolutely check them out. Pure Malt and Pure Havane, two of the best fragrances that Mugler has ever released for men. Pure Havane, more of a sweet tobacco. Pure Malt, more of a sweet boozy. Prada L'Homme Intense, another fragrance not on the list this year. This one has iris tonka and leather. It is another fantastic fragrance, big compliment puller, but it's one that I've just worn a bunch, and here comes the sun. And just a couple more really quick ones. 1 Million Privé and Michael Kors for men. Both of these fantastic fall time fragrances. I've just worn them a lot. Really, all 5 of the fragrances I just mentioned, that's why they're not in the list. I've just worn them out. Here we go into the official top 10. Number 10, Zadig and Voltaire. This is Him. This is a fragrance that I just recently was able to smell for the first time. It has incense, vanilla, sandalwood, and pepper as some of the notes in the fragrance. The quality, quite good. The price also quite good. It reminds me of something that Issey Miyake would do. So Issey Miyake's Nuit DC line, this fragrance would kind of fit right in with that. It's incense forward, so you've got a good amount of smokiness in the fragrance, but that's contrasted a bit with the vanilla. So that sweetness helps offset it a little bit. Great fragrance for cool weather. It's one you could wear in winter as well. Great night out fragrance also. And this is one that's actually been requested of me to do a review on, so I'll try to do that here in the near future as well. So we're starting off with number 10, This Is Him by Zadig and Voltaire. Number 9 is a fragrance from Azzaro, a fragrance that I really enjoy from Azzaro, so you probably know what it is already. It's Wanted by Night, which in my opinion is a big improvement over the original Wanted. So this is one of those circumstances where a flanker comes out, you smell it and you go, yeah, that's way better than the original. Cinnamon, mandarin, tobacco, and additional fruity notes are some of the notes in the fragrance. This is another one that's a great night out fragrance, and it's right there in the name, Wanted by Night. Big attention grabber, big compliment puller, and not overly youthful for me. Now, I'm not saying that somebody that's young can't wear it, because absolutely they can easily. I'm just saying it's not one of those fragrances that to me comes across like a, teenager type of fragrance. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It has a really wide age range of people that can use this one. There is also cumin in the fragrance, but not too much of it, so you're not gonna get any funky spiciness out of the scent. Just a wonderful, warm, sweet nighttime fragrance and cool weather fragrance. Number 8, we're going with the fragrance that's got a little bit of a modern classic DNA to it, but is a little more modernized, better suited for fall and winter. Big attention grabber, and it is Hugo Boss Bottled Intense EDP. There is an eau de parfum and also an eau de toilette, and for this list, we're going with the EDP. Not that there's a huge difference between the two, but just be aware. This one has vanilla and clove, and of course apple and cinnamon, which is that main part of the Boss Bottled DNA. A lot of people are gonna say that it smells similar to an apple pie. This one's got a lot of versatility to it. Great daytime fragrance, nighttime fragrance, casual fragrance, date night fragrance. You can wear it to the office. It's one of those tried and tested DNAs, like all the big ones that came out in the 90s. They've got a ton of versatility. For me, the performance on this one, quite good as well, cuts through the cold, and it's a great kind of changing of the seasons fragrance where it does have that cinnamon spice to it. So number 8, we're going with Boss Bottled Intense Eau de Parfum. Number 7, we're switching things up a little bit. We're gonna go with Lolita Limpica Homme. Now this is kind of a re-release. It used to be Lolita Limpica Eau Masculine, and now the bottle is changed up, the bottle style. And some people will tell you that the fragrance has been changed up a little bit. They'll tell you that the original was much better and deeper, fuller, richer, better performance, all that stuff. But really, it's pretty much the same. And I do have both. We've got the old style bottle and the new. This one has anise, vanilla, rum, and sugar, and licorice. And that licorice is gonna be the real note that sets this one apart. It's one of, if not the most well-known licorice-centric designer fragrances. At least for me anyways, it's the first one that pops into my mind. This one's gonna give you a really different feel than most of the fragrances you're gonna wear in fall time. Really, you could pull this off in spring as well, but for me, kind of like Boss Bottled Intense, it's a great changing of the season's fragrance. And it's one that almost nobody is gonna be wearing. So that's a positive too. So number 7, Lolita Limpica Homme. Number 6, going with one of my favorites from Hugo Boss, the scent Private Accord. Yeah, this is a really nice one in my opinion. It's got that Menenka fruit, which is what the scent is known for, kind of a dusty, fruity sweetness. But this one also has coffee and cacao. There's also ginger in the opening, so it's gonna give you a sparkly pop off of the top. And there's a good amount of sweetness here, but not too much. There's a good depth to the fragrance, good richness to the fragrance, and warmth. For me, it's my favorite from the scent line. If you're gonna own just one, it should be this one. Great versatility, like most of the fragrances in this list in the fall time. And for me, it's kind of a sleeper date night fragrance, one that maybe a lot of people would not think of as a date night scent, but works really well. Number 5 though is an even better date night fragrance. And this one is from Roberto Cavalli. It's Uomo La Notte. And this one I've talked about a number of times. It is, of course, a flanker to the original Uomo. And this one has a pretty strong similarity to Carolina Herrera CH Privé, except that it's better. It has tonka, bergamot, and cardamom, of course, with leather is one of the main notes, which is really one of the main things that ties it in with CH Privé. This one has better performance than CH Privé, smoother, and overall just smells like a higher quality scent to me. So like I said, great night out fragrance. This one definitely is more of a nighttime fragrance overall than a daytime fragrance. The sweetness in here really works wonders in terms of compliments and attention. This one is gonna work great if you're looking for a sweet, wearable leather fragrance with bits of spice. Just awesome scent. And at least when you can find it at discounters, you can get it for a good price as well. But if it's sold out at discounters, don't overpay. Anything over $50, I'd say is probably too much. In that range and below, really great pickup. Number 4, I'm going with the Cartier, going with Pacha de Cartier Parfum. This one is a great flanker, and this one is probably gonna be better suited for somebody upper 20s and up as far as age goes. It has balsam fir, it's got a boozy note, it's got tonka, and sandalwood. And this one does have a touch of that original Pacha de Cartier in it when you first spray it on, especially. It's got a little bit of this classic masculine sort of vibe. Some people might say a little bit barbershoppy. As it dries down, you've got that creamy sandalwood, you've got some sweetness from the booze and the tonka, and it just smells amazing. Cartier is one of those houses that in general makes extremely high quality fragrances and sometimes gets overlooked a little bit. So make sure not to overlook this one. This fragrance is going to be more sophisticated, gentlemanly, refined. This one is great formally, also works casually, to the office, almost any situation that you could think of in cooler weather. And this is another one that I think is really great as a transitional fragrance because it's not super heavy, so it's not really something that immediately makes me think of winter, but it does have enough depth, richness, and oomph to get you through the cooler months in fall. Number 3, gonna go with one of my favorite fragrances from Paco Rabanne, Pure XS. Now, a lot of people seem to not overly enjoy Pure XS, but I love it. Pure XS Night, the flanker, is good as well, but for me, the original is the way to go. This one is really sweet. It's got vanilla, it's got myrrh, it has sugar, it's got spices like cinnamon, and there's also a boozy note in there as well. When you first spray it on, it sparkles, has kind of like a carbonated drink effect off your skin, like a soda. And as it dries down, you're gonna get those resins, warmth, and sweetness that I mentioned in the note breakdown. The fragrance is just, for me, awesome. I love it. First time I smelled it, fell in love with it, and the more I smell it, the more I like it. I live in a small area, not too many people here, and I've never smelled anybody wearing Pure XS. So as far as Paco Rabanne goes, it's not super common, as much as a Paco Rabanne fragrance can not be super common. Basically, I guess I'm saying you're more likely to smell Invictus or 1 Million or one of those flankers than you are Pure XS. This one's another wonderful nighttime fragrance, but there's a lot of versatility in fall time. It's one that I'll wear just as many times as I can find an opportunity to do so. Pure XS. Number 2, another fragrance I fell in love with right away, Code Absolu from Giorgio Armani. This is my favorite flanker in the entire Code line. I like it more than Profumo. I like it more than Absolute Gold. I like it more than the original Code. I like it more than Code Ultimate. It's just my favorite. This one has vanilla, suede, tonka, nutmeg, woods, and mandarin as some of the notes in the fragrance. And this one also, kind of like Pure XS, has a little bit of that effervescent pop off of your skin. Smells great. This one even more so than Pure XS, big compliment puller, very versatile, daytime or nighttime fragrance. You can wear it formally, you can wear it casually, you can wear it to the office, pretty much anything, you can pull it off. It does have a similarity to Code Profumo, though it's not quite as loud or aggressive as Code Profumo. Performance also not quite on the level of Code Profumo, but it's still a great performer. Code Absolu, awesome fragrance, love it. Gonna take me to number 1. This fragrance is also an Absolu. It is from Yves Saint Laurent, and it is M7 Absolu. This one has myrrh, it has labdanum, has patchouli, and of course, oud. And in case you're unaware, M7 Oud Absolu is sort of a re-release of the original M7. M7 was released when Tom Ford was still creative director of Yves Saint Laurent. It's widely heralded as one of, if not the greatest, designer oud fragrance of all time. And M7 Oud Absolu is a much more affordable way to get a fragrance that smells extremely close to the original. I have the original M7 and the first formulation of that. Then I have M7 Oud Absolu in the first bottle style, which had a little black matte kind of finish to the bottle. And then also the later versions of M7 Oud Absolu that had a clear bottle. And yeah, they're all extremely similar. Now, of course, if I could have just one, I'd take the original M7, but both versions of M7 Oud Absolu are great. As far as top-notch, but still affordable oud fragrances made by a designer brand that are still extremely wearable and versatile, M7 Oud Absolu. It does kind of pop on and off discounters, so sometimes you can't really find it at discounters at all. Then they'll get it back in stock and then it sells out again, and it just keeps repeating. It's basically done that for years at this point. In my opinion, it's a fragrance that you should smell at least once, either the original, if at all possible, or Oud Absolu. Again, extremely wearable oud fragrance that has extreme versatility. Daytime, nighttime, office, casual, night out, whatever. It's also a fragrance that can come across very classy, very gentlemanly. It's just an awesome scent. And this year, I do want to wear M7 more than about anything else. So M7 Oud Absolu, number 1 for this year. It's not a new fragrance, but it's a classic one and a darn good one. So there we go, top 10 fall designer fragrances for 2020. Gonna do the niche list here in the near future, so be on the lookout for that. As always, thanks for hanging out with me today. Thanks for all your support. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.